Welcome to this week's reefing news. Coral cover on the Great Barrier Reef has gone up, not held steady up. This is reefing news for the week of the 17th of August. The Australian Institute of Marine Science published its annual report on Tuesday, and it is the first proper good news we have had in a while. But there is a sting in the tail, and it has about 16 legs. Let's get into it. Start with the numbers, because this is the best evidenced answer we have to, is the reef dying? Manta tow surveys, 121 reefs, surveyed between August 2025 and June 2026. In the northern Great Barrier Reef, hard coral cover rose from 30.0% to 35.1%. In the central region, 28.6 up to 31.6. The south was broadly stable, 26.9, down to 26.4, which sits well inside the confidence interval. Across the surveyed reefs, 28% increased, 56% showed no net change, 16% declined. So why did it happen? The weather. A late summer monsoon. Heavy rain brought cloud cover, sea surface temperatures dropped, and the bleaching that was developing in the north and the center just stopped short of doing real damage. AIMs read this as the start of recovery from the 2024 mass bleaching. Let me be honest about what that sentence means. The reef got lucky. And look at the spread before you celebrate. 64 reefs sit between 10 and 30% cover, 42 between 30 and 50, 12 between 50 and 75, and not one single reef above 75%. Here is the sting. Crown-of-thorns starfish. Numbers have been building on the northern reefs for a few years now, and AIMS assess this as the beginning of the fifth recorded outbreak wave since the 1960s. And this is the part that should worry you. They only saw the starfish on 27 reefs. They found feeding scars on 77. They are out there. We just cannot see them yet. There is a grim symmetry in this one. The long-term monitoring program turns 40 this year. It began in 1985 to track a crown-of-thorns outbreak. It is the largest and longest continuous reef monitoring dataset in the world. Now, one caution about percent cover, and a new paper is the right place to make it. Coral cover does not tell you whether a reef is actually still building. For that, you need a carbonate budget. Researchers assessed census-based carbonate budgets at 7 reef sites around Oahu in Hawaii, published in PLOS One. Overall, net positive, those reefs are still laying down more limestone than is being taken away. But the reported range starts at minus 0.15, so not every site was building. Think of a carbonate budget as the reef's balance sheet. On one side, corals depositing limestone, on the other, parrotfish, urchins and boring organisms grinding it back into sand. Percent cover cannot see either column, which is exactly why a headline cover number, good as this one is not the whole story. Florida next, and a proper bit of hope, the 1st to the 4th of August. The Elkhorn coral spawning window, which comes round once a year, and it is narrow. Reef Renewal USA led the effort, working with the University of Miami, Mote Marine Laboratory, the Florida Aquarium, SEC Corps International, and the Smithsonian Marine Station. Within the first few days, they produced thousands of new genetically distinct Elkhorn corals, from 70 different parental combinations. The juveniles go into coral facilities for future restoration. Here is the part that matters. Those parent colonies survived the 2023 marine heatwave, the one that wiped out most of the Elkhorn across the Keys. So this is not just propagation, this is breeding from the survivors. It is the same fundamental technique Jamie Craggs pioneered in captivity with Project Coral at the Horniman. And note the honest limit. Assisted fertilization preserves and spreads genetics. It does not fix the water temperature. One more paper, and it is the most useful thing you will hear today. NPJ Biodiversity, the 15th of August. Rejuvenescence. A coral polyp contracts right back, looks dead, and then regenerates. Researchers describe it in a fossil reef in the Makran region of Iran, dated to the Miocene climatic optimum, and the same response is documented in a living Mediterranean coral today, separated by phylogeny, by time, by geography, and both do it under thermal stress. The authors are careful. They cannot yet say whether that is deep homology or convergent evolution, and the benefit appears limited to the individual colony, not the reef. But for you at home, the lesson is simple. Next time a heat-stressed colony pulls right in on you, give it time before you bin it. Staying with stress, marine environmental research, the 11th of August, an 84-day experiment on the fire coral Millepura alcicornis held at +5 degrees and pH 7.5. End-of-century conditions, total lipid content fell significantly. Triacylglycerides and DHA fell hardest, but the symbiont-derived glycolipids were not significantly affected. Read that again. It is the coral's own energy reserves that get burned down, while the algal side holds up, which is a decent argument for keeping a stressed coral well fed rather than assuming light alone will carry it. And one for the sharks. Ecology and evolution. 58 great hammerheads recorded from artisanal gillnet fisheries on the Abrolhos Bank off Brazil, the largest coral reef system in the southwestern Atlantic. Most were neonates or young of the year, identified by umbilical scars, concentrated in shallow reef-associated areas. The authors are careful, 1 year of data, gear selectivity applies. So this is evidence suggesting a nursery, not a confirmed one. A critically endangered shark, apparently using a coral reef to raise its pups. Right? Hobby, UK first. And I will be straight with you. It has been a quiet one at home. No shop openings, no closures, nothing new in the events diary, and no fresh Project Coral update out of the Horniman. Some weeks the feed gives you nothing, and I would rather tell you that than pad it out. What UK reefers were actually talking about is more interesting. Over on Ultimate Reef, DD Kit dominated the equipment chat this week, 2 separate reliability threads running at the same time, one on the P4 Pro Doser, one on the Function range. That might be nothing, but you will remember that back in July we covered Cresco acquiring DD, so I'm keeping half an eye on it. If you have a view, put it in the comments, and one thing that is genuinely on a clock, the GHL Mitras LX8. The introductory price closes at the end of this month, the 31st of August, or sooner if the first batch sells out. €949.90 instead of $1,199.90, GHL have said flat out that the intro price will not come back. Shipping from Germany starts on October the 1st, so what is in it? 250 watts up from 190 on the LX7, 132 high-power LEDs across 6 clusters, plus 3 moonlight LEDs, 12 dimmable color channels. The LX7 had 9-, plus a dedicated moonlight channel, a new Wi-Fi module with over-the-air updates. It runs standalone or hands over to a Profilux 4 wirelessly. And GHL confirmed the LX7 stays in the range underneath it. Nobody is being forced to upgrade. Less glamorous, but a lot of you will want this one. GHL dosing containers now come in 5-liter, 1, 2 and 5, push-pull fittings, a dip tube running to the bottom so you actually empty them, and a recess for the magnetic stirrer, which if you are running boiling is the whole point. Third piece of gear, Santa Monica Filtration's Drop 2.6 upflow scrubber. It drops into the back chamber of a bigger all-in-one. Air bubbles rise up through the growth chamber, drag tank water in with them, rub against the green grabber texture, and get hit by a 660 nanometer deep red LED. You supply the air pump. The manufacturer reckons that's sized right for your feeding rate. It can be the tank's only filter. That is their claim, not a tested result. And the big one for aquascapers, Fiji Pukani Dry Rock is back. First time since the 2018 export ban, 8 years. Coral exports resumed in 2024, and live rock permission finally came through around June. It is exceptionally light and highly porous, so a 25-pound box fills far more tank volume than the same weight of dense rock. It is soft enough to drill and chisel, so you can build real overhangs and shelves. One warning though, it is ancient dried coral skeleton, and those deep pores hold dried organic matter. Brand new build, no problem. Adding it to a running reef, run phosphate adsorption media for a few weeks, and UK availability is not stated anywhere in the source, so do not assume. Livestock. Nothing from Cairns Marine, and no new species described this week. But there is one fish I would be watching. Ultramarine reports several Paracaelanus hemitaneatus heading to the UK. The half-banded, or Madagascar, Flasher rassi. It comes only from Madagascar and a few coastal spots off South Africa, and it has reached the hobby a handful of times in 10 years. The shipment is rumoured to include large super males. Now my caveat, because I'm not sending you off on a wild goose chase. Ultramarine do not put dates on their pages. I cannot confirm this shipment is current. No importer, no retailer, no price. Treat it as a lead to watch, not a shopping announcement. Wider hobby. Reefapalooza California is at the end of this month, the 29th and 30th, at the Anaheim Marriott. Manta is due in September, but the location still is not confirmed, so do not book flights. Reef Builder's only real story this week was that Pucani rock, and there is a cracking first-look photo thread on Reef2Reef. Go and look at that before you spend any money on rock. So, the reef is recovering. The starfish are coming. Pucani is back, and your dead-looking coral might not be dead. Every link is in the description. The Ames report, all 7 papers, the lot. Go and read them yourself. Do not just take my word for it. Like, subscribe, and I will see you next week.